Hello, YouTube. This is Mahadev, the Thunder Wizard. And God said, let us go down. Today we're going to be talking about Elohim. Who are the Elohim? And why is it important that that phrase is still used and misunderstood in religion today? And what does it mean for our life going forward? So, I'm going to be leaving the United States in just about a week. And so you have that much time to take advantage of the incredible, huge savings I'm giving you in the advanced video teachings that I have. You can go to a bunch of places. You can go to solarflash.thunderwizard.com, and I would also advise that you go look at maushan.thunderwizard.com. I am literally giving away, I don't know, like a total of $7,000 worth of stuff. So check it out, solarflash.thunderwizard.com. You'll see all the different things, all the different certifications, all that good stuff. So, and God said, let us go down. So that's actually a mistranslation. It never said, and God said, in that phrase. That is taken from when supposedly the Elohim went down and confused the language of human beings. It was just a really cheap way of trying to explain away different languages. But in the beginning, in Genesis, it says, and God said, let us. Numerous times you'll see this, and God said, let us. But if there's only one God, why is God saying, let us? Well, that's because in the Old Testament, there are a bunch of different names for this supposed one God. And one of the names that is probably the oldest one referenced in the Old Testament is the word Elohim. Elohim happens to be the Canaanite religion word also. So I'm not going to get into it here. If you want to, you go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com and get my book, And Odin Said Jesus Was a Coward, and you can hear me go into detail explaining what actually happened and how the Hebrew people completely, totally threw away their history as Canaanites. Because if you read the Old Testament, one of the big things is that the children of Israel supposedly came out of Egypt and went into the land of Canaan and murdered, killed everybody in it. And according to them, Yahweh told Joshua to go in and kill every living being. Man, woman, child, animal. And so when we hear about the Canaanites, you're led to believe that the Canaanites are a different people from the children of Israel. But the truth of the matter is that the children of Israel are descended directly from the Canaanites, and there never was a Jewish exodus or an Israeli exodus from Egypt. In fact, there were never any Israelis in Egypt, ever. None of the Hebrew tribes were ever taken prisoner or enslaved in Egypt. It never happened. And that can be proven archaeologically as well as historically. So what did happen? Well, was it 358 BC? I get that date a little bit wrong, but when the Jewish elite because at that time they were, it was separated between Judea and Samaria. Samaria were the 10 tribes, and Judea had the elite tribes, had the tribe of Judah and the tribe of the priestly tribe. I forget what they called those, what those guys were. Anyway, 2 tribes, and those were the elites. And the elites of the elites were taken captive by the Babylonians because the Judeans refused to pay their taxes to Babylon. Now, Babylon had made them a vassal state, and so for their protection, who knows what was really going on, but in order to keep, have Babylon's protection, they had to pay taxes. And the Judeans said, we don't want to do that. They believed that as long as they kept the flame lit to their patron god, Jehovah, they believed as long as they kept the candle lit there in the temple to Jehovah, that Jehovah would protect them from all outsiders. And so when they said to Babylon, we're not paying taxes, the Babylonians said, oh, really? And they came down with their army and they flattened the temple because they knew they knew that whole ridiculous nonsense that if they kept the flame lit, that Jehovah would protect them. So they flattened the temple to Jehovah. And then they took the ruling class and the priestly class, because they were elites, took them off in chains, and they left the rest of the population there. And we know from archaeology that up until that point, the Hebrews, specifically the Judeans, actually were polytheists. They worshipped all of the same gods. They worshipped Baal. They worshipped Ashtaroth. They worshipped the Earth Mother and the Sky Father and all of the other, they were complete and total polytheists, just like everybody else. So when the priestly class came back 70 years later, they brought with them a new scripture that they had created. They took a bunch of different existing myths and stories and scriptures from different places and smashed it all together and said, here's your new history. And if you didn't buy into the new history, you were ostracized, you were put to death. And they made it very clear that unless you worshiped the one God of Israel, which happens to be the patron god of the ruling elite and the priestly class, unless you worshipped their God, which meant unless you bowed down to their governmental system, then God would punish you. They would put you to death. They would stone you to death. So what we read as religion was actually a political takeover. And people were put to death if they did not, become part of the, part of the ruling class. So the Bible that you have is that document. It is a document that was invented, rewritten, pasted together, where they completely rewrote their history, and they wanted their own people to hate their ancestors, who were the Canaanites. So they couldn't get rid of some of the beliefs because it was so deeply ingrained into the Judean mindset. They couldn't get rid of their polytheist roots. And so you only see it in the beginning parts, in Genesis and places like that, where you'll see, and God said, let us. And that is actually Elohim said, let us. And even in places where Jehovah says, thou shalt have no other gods other than me, other gods is Elohim, plural. You will not have the gods. So the God of the government of this new Judean state refused to allow you to worship the gods of your ancestors if you happen to be of Canaanite stock. But they couldn't get rid of it. And so I want to get to that. Why does the Elohim, first off, who are the Elohim? Who are the gods? The council. It's also translated, Elohim is translated as the council of gods. It's going to be important. Who are this council of gods? And why are they saying, let us go down? Now, if you look at planet Earth there, it's a sphere. So there's no such thing as down. It's a sphere. It's not like it's a flat Earth and, sorry, flat Earthers. Sorry, it just doesn't work. You want to stay living in 2 dimensions, go right ahead. But you can live in 3 or even 5 dimensions if you want. So there's no down. So when the council of the gods, and the gods, by the way, this is also true for the Indo-Europeans. This is true in my ethnic background. The gods are called the Aesir. They are called the Asuras. That's the original in the Vedic. The original term for gods is not Devi, which means light. The Devas, Deva means light. Same as in Indo-European. Same as in Europe. Tiu is Diu, is Dev. It means light. Divine means light. So when you talk about the gods, you're talking about light beings. But the original word for gods in terms of rulers was Asura, and it meant power. It meant beings of power. And the Elohim is plural for beings of power. And so who are these beings of power, this council of beings of power who go down to earth? Why do they go down? Well, you can choose to believe me or not. It's completely up to you. You won't hurt my feelings if you don't. By the way, I talk about it in my book here, Interdimensional Revolution. I also talk about it in my book, Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth. You can read you can hear the books, audiobooks.thunderwizard.com, or you can look for them on Amazon and Kindle. But one of the first interactions I had when I reached out to higher dimensional beings of light through the CE5 protocols, you can look that up, CE5. One of the first things that happened is that I was visited in my home by a group of extremely powerful beings, and they said, "We are the Council of Nine." And afterwards I thought to myself, I think my head just made that up. The Council of Nine. But I've had visitations from those same beings, and I have gotten the impression again that I was dealing with the council. I think there's a council of 5, it might even be a council of 3, but there is a council of 9. And they visited me. And so when I started thinking about this, and I started thinking about and God said, let us go down, realizing that the translation of that was, you could translate it as, the council of powers said, let us go down to earth. Now, why would they go down to earth? Well, that's because these beings, this council, they live in a higher dimension. And so it really is like going down. You're stepping down vibrationally, not an elevation. They're not going from the sky to the earth straight down like that. They're appearing in third dimension, but they're coming from a higher dimension, a higher vibrational state, which we would call heaven. So think about all of the ways that heaven is described, not only in scriptural sources and religious texts, but also in people who have had near-death experiences and come back. I myself am one of those people. I didn't have a near-death experience, but I had a out-of-body experience, which for all intents and purposes, it might as well have been a near-death experience. And what they will say oftentimes is that there is this realm of blinding white light. And I can remember being in a place of such brightness that I said to myself, I was 7 years old at the time that it happened, and I said to myself, if I was seeing this with my real eyes, my eyes would burn out of my sockets. I knew that it was so bright, my eyes would just fry. And yet it was more real than anything I'd ever experienced to this day. I've never experienced anything that real. And that, I believe, I had gone to a higher dimensional place. When I entered that light, by the way, never listen to the people who say, watch out for beings of light, false beings of... There's no such thing as false light. It doesn't make any sense. It's the biggest bunch of double talk. You can't... Try turning on a flashlight and create a flashlight that has false light. Turn off all the lights in a dark room and then turn on a flashlight with false light. You can't do it. You're either creating light or you're not. There's no such thing as false light. So get rid of that nonsense. Get rid of that fear. Please. It won't serve you. What was I saying? So this realm of light, according to physicists, our third dimension, all of the light in our third dimension, including the light that comes out of lamps and fires and other things like that, all of the light that comes into our dimension is actually coming from the fifth dimension, and it leaks into our reality. Same thing with electromagnetism and gravity. As I understand it, in the fifth dimension, according to physicists, in the fifth dimension, gravity and electromagnetism are the same property. But when they leak into the third dimension, they separate. They become two different properties. So we're really stumbling around in the dark. And whatever light comes to us is light that just sort of filters in from higher dimensions, which leads you to believe, if you think about it, that the light that must be coming, if all you're getting is just some cracks of light that are seeping through, cracks between dimensions, the light in those higher dimensions must be unbelievably bright. The energy in those dimensions must be unbelievably powerful. So that means that any being that lives in those higher dimensions, by definition, are going to be great and powerful beings in comparison to us. Compared to us in the third dimension, any being in a higher dimension is going to be of godlike stature. Just to give you again, I've shared it with you before, but I mean, if you can get this concept in your head, I think it'll be really helpful. In the third dimension, we have 8 reference points. We're in a box. There's 4 points above, 4 points below. Draw lines on all of the points. You have a box. That is the third dimension. 8 reference points. When you go up to the fourth dimension, the 8 reference points turns into 16. We can't understand what that would mean. It would be like things folding in on top of itself, and we can't comprehend it. But it doesn't just get twice as big. It gets, quantumly much larger than our dimension. Same with the light, same with the energy, same with the concepts. The concepts that that these beings think at, we're not talking about the most advanced beings in the fifth dimension. We're just talking about your average fifth dimensional being. Even, like the idiot of the fifth dimensional being is going to be able to think in concepts that we can't, because we can't fit it into our 3D brain. We only have 8 reference points. And even, your basic child in the fifth dimension has 16 reference points, and just one word, one concept, one thought would break our brains. And if you take that to the fifth dimension, it goes from 8 to 16 in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is time. We don't count that. That's something that is actually we are actually part of the 3rd/4th dimension. So the next one up is the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension goes to 32 points of reference. And it's not double 16. The points are doubled, but the energy is quantumly expanded exponentially beyond, even the fourth dimension. Fourth dimension people wouldn't be able to understand anything. So when a fifth dimensional being or above comes into our dimension, they are coming down. Now, my experience of the Council of Nine is that they are far more powerful than even the fifth dimension. And just like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, you remember that part of the movie, if you're that old or if you saw it, where they open up the ark and he says, "Don't look at them," right? And the Nazis are stupid, so they look at it and it burns them. It's because that's actually representational of what happens when third dimensional energy, third dimensional physical bodies, third dimensional brains are seeing the fifth dimension or above in its full force. It would just destroy you. You couldn't survive it. I've had interactions with some of these very high dimensional beings, and they've just communicated one concept to me, and it has physically, my body, I've been, unable to function for a couple of days because my body can't handle it. My brain has just broken on me a few times. And it takes me a while to just begin to understand what they're trying to tell me. So I just thought I would talk about that. I want to help expand your brains, and hopefully by doing this, we can get out of the lower dimensional mundane nonsense, to get out of our fear, to get out of our selfishness, to get out of our self-absorption, to get out of our fear of the future, to understand that things like money don't exist, and that you can have as much money as you want. So that's the ironic thing. Money doesn't exist. It's purely a concept. Every time you go to the store and you give them people don't really give cash anymore, but when you give cash to somebody, it's pieces of paper, it's monopoly money, it's nonsense. The only reason it has any value is because the two of you agree that it has value, but it's just like two kids playing a pretend game. And people die over this. People starve to death and die and kill over this pretend thing we call money. And we spend so much time worrying about it. We don't have enough of it. How can you have enough of nothing? How can you have not enough or too much of nothing? It doesn't exist. So if you understand that, it takes all the power out of it. And since it's a pretend game, like pretend games, when you're playing pretend games as a kid, and the guy says, I just threw a spell at you. And then you say, oh yeah, well, I've got level 5 immunity. No spells can touch me. My spell is more powerful than yours. You can't touch me. You can't just make stuff up. Yes, I can. It's a pretend game. You can do that. You can decide that you have all the money that you need. Just do that. Test me on it. Now, the trick is you can't be doing it about things that you don't really want or don't really need. Wanting to have $1 million because you're afraid of someday being poor doesn't count. You need a new car. You need a better place to rent. You need, you need a plane ticket. You need something that costs a lot of these pretend dollars. Monopoly money. You can just decide, you know what? I have X amount of money. I'm going to have what I want. And you'll get it. If you understand it's just a pretend game, it's not real, then there's nothing stopping you from creating it. And because you have the ability to manifest your intentions, if you are committed to it without any fear and without any attachment, then you have the ability to make it happen. Poof. We do it all the time. I'm not going to spend the time talking about it. If you want to learn about that, you can go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the Manifestation Mastery course. So before I open it up for questions or comments, in case you want to indulge me in that, understand that this channel is about doing the work. I am speaking to every single one of you who only come on to the channel and listen to me rant and babble. You are wasting your valuable time and energy. I am here to give you the tools. You want to have the same experiences that I'm having? You can. There's nothing special about me. I promise you, I am just as stupid and human as you are. In fact, I may be even stupider than you are. I may be weaker and stupider. I'm just stubborn. If you want to have what I have, you got to do what I do. Go here to thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Just press play and do the practices. It'll cost you less than what it's already costing you to go to Starbucks and getting your latte frappuccino thing, whatever the hell it is that you drink every day. You can learn the Lightning Qigong, which is the most powerful triune energy practice in the history of mankind. I know that sounds grandiose, but it's true. It's the only place you're going to find Qigong, Kundalini, and the lightning energy of the heart together. It's the only place you're going to learn some of the sacred Maoshan mudras, meditations, practices. I teach you the high-level stuff there. You also have access to the interdimensional shamanic journey meditation course where you can learn my techniques that I'm developing to connect with higher dimensional beings, and you can talk about how you met with the Council of 9 or the Council of 5, or when these beings come to visit you. They're more than happy to come and visit you if you reach out. I can't speak for them, but I don't see why they wouldn't. You can also learn the Manifestation Mastery course, where if you understand that this Web of Wyrd, this 3-dimensional matrix of physical energetic reality, is completely responsive to your committed, fearless intentions, you can control and create your environment from a moment-to-moment basis. You'll also have access to the Mastery of Shamanism course. Each one of these things, do you have any idea how much I could charge for each one of these things? And I'm giving it away for almost nothing. So go check that out. And that's what this channel is about. If you're not doing it, I'm going to know, number one. Not that you need to worry about that. But if you ask a question, I'm going to know immediately if you're doing the practices. because it has that powerful of effect on your thought process. You can go to courses.thunderwizard.com to see all the stuff that you can get for almost nothing at the, where is it? Here. Solar Flash package. Good for at least 1 week. I can't guarantee it'll be here a week from now. solarflash.thunderwizard.com. Maushan.thunderwizard.com also has a couple of amazing deals where you'll save thousands of dollars. If you want to read about my experiences, interdimensional revolution, and extraterrestrials are coming to Earth, you can go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. I have a new thing. I would love to do it on this channel. I don't know why nobody's taking me up on it. I think it's an awesome thing I'm offering here. AskMike.thunderwizard.com. Whatever your question is, when people leave questions on here, I don't know what the hell they're talking about half the time, or it's such a deep subject that I need to go in depth to respond to it. I don't have time to do it on the live streams. Go to AskMike.thunderwizard.com, and I will even do a half-hour recorded session with you and turn that into a video and put it up on the channel so other people can benefit from it. Go to askmike.thunderwizard.com. All right, now I'm willing to take a look at your questions and your feelings. Those are the only two things I'm interested in. So just to let you guys know, I am no longer going to, since there's going to be so many people who are now are going to be certified and are learning to do all of the astrology and the rune readings and things like that. I'm no longer going to announce people's websites. However, those of you who have been certified by me and you have a .thunderwizard.com website, you are still encouraged to come up and write in the chat your name, your website, and the services that you offer if I have certified you. But I'm just not going to keep announcing it anymore because so many people are doing it now. So let's move on to the questions. So Tony M7, you're new to the channel, yes? So if you look below Tony M7, you'll see QWERTY has written the word question in all caps. And he or she, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, has done that so that I can see the question and answer it. I want to be able to see your question. So you say, are these beings demons, reptilians, or what are they? So welcome to my channel. I would love to answer that question. I can tell you, first off, just to give you a little bit of answer, just puts a little bit of time on my channel and watch any of my videos about beings of light. I have videos on my channel where I have recorded sessions where I have interacted with these beings. You can find out for yourself what they are. So I can tell you're new to the channel. But the short answer to your question is that they are higher dimensional beings of light. Watch my channel. If you want, go to askmike.thunderwizard.com. I'll answer for you in more in depth. QWERTY question. Based on what you said, does that mean you think there is no truth to the idea of soul traps? QWERTY, you're new to my channel also, aren't you? I can tell you're not subscribed. I can tell you haven't watched very many of my videos, even some of the new ones. So what I would recommend that you do is go onto my channel and look for any of the videos. By the way, do you guys know how to search within a YouTube channel? You need to know this if you are interested in anybody's channel. What you do is you go onto their page. Mine is the Thunder Wizard, DOTCOM on YouTube. And on there, you can hit videos, and then there will be somewhere, I don't care what device you're using, there will be some way where you can get a menu drop down where you can type in any word you want, any search word. So type in Gnosticism, type in beings of light, type in soul trap, type in all of the things, reptilians, type in all of the things you want to know about, and you will have hundreds of hours of videos on my channel. I believe that people should not be lazy. I don't think that you should expect me to do all of the work for you and answer the same questions every week. Not that, if you're new, you don't know any better. You just showed up. But this is a library of information, and I recommend that you make use of it. If you want me to really go in deep in your questions, ask mike.thunderwizard.com. So, QWERTY, I'm going to answer your question with a question. Based on what you heard me say, do you think that that means that there's no truth in the idea of soul traps? I mean, you heard what I said. What do you think I meant by that? And Vincent on thunderwizard.com, honest feeling, I'm excited to go to Hawaii in a few months. I might just stay there and build a hut on the beach, fish and snorkel all day. That sounds like an awesome thing to do. I almost went to Hawaii and did that exact thing. I ended up going to Australia instead. But there you go. Let's see. Tony M7, that's not a question. You said fear keeps you in the matrix. It's not so much that fear keeps you in the matrix, although that's true. It's that fear keeps you in it keeps you in a state where the matrix manifests your fears. The matrix will manifest whatever you have. Wherever you are, the matrix will manifest that. So the matrix itself is not good or bad. It's not a prison. It is simply, what would they call that in Star Trek? It's the holograph room. What the hell did they call that thing? I forget. It's a holograph manifestation. You live in a 3D hologram, but you create it. So fear doesn't keep you in it. You are in it because you choose to be in it. Nothing keeps you here. The only question is what you manifest while you're here. And of course, we are moving again towards the solar wave shift, which will give us an opportunity to shift to a higher manifestation of our 3D. So keep that in mind as well. Let's see. I don't know what any of that means. That's not a question. I don't know what any of that means. That is just so off topic. I'm not even going to get into it, and I don't know. Anyway. So, nothing else. Holodeck. Thank you. The holodeck. All right. So, I don't see any other questions here, so I guess we're done. So, keep your eyes peeled soon. I've been adding meditations to the interdimensional shamanic journey meditation course. I have to tell you that I think this is probably the most important teaching that I have. It's also the simplest. I do believe that if you want to be successful at interdimensional meditation, that you should be doing the 90-day challenge. You should be doing the Maushan, maushan.thunderwizard.com. You should be doing those exercises. You should be doing your Vedic astrology, mantra, meditation, all of that stuff. You should be doing that because those things shift your energy level to a higher place. And I don't believe I would be able to have the intensity of experiences that I'm having if I hadn't spent 30 years opening up my meridians and shifting my energy up by doing these Qigong practices. If you're new to the channel, right? And unfortunately for me, the sad part for me is that the majority of people on my channel are young and broke. So go on and find on my channel these things if you want to be able to really make it through the coming shift. The HUUL breath. You can type that into Google. That will show up. You can follow that. Do the Summoning the Immortals Qigong. That's free. I should be charging thousands of dollars for both of those, but I'm giving them away to you for free. That is my gift to you. Do those things every single day. and you will be able to, in fact, when you do the summoning the immortals, you are actually creating a conduit to the higher dimensional beings. They like it when you do that. You have a stronger connection with them. They will see you and they will come to you. And to the extent that you are willing to connect with them, they will connect with you. They will come into your dreams. They will show you things, talk to you, give you intuitions, and maybe even physically show up in your room like they do to me quite often. Although they've been, because I'm getting ready to leave, I have to focus on mundane things. So they've been sort of quiet for the past week or so. Anyway, self-love. If you have a question, write the word question. According to you, are Vedic mantras just positive vibrations? Self-love, you're new to the channel, yes? Please go onto my YouTube channel page, Thunder Wizard, DOTCOM, and type in Vedic astrology. Type in mantras. Or go to askmike.thunderwizard.com, because the answer to your question is much deeper than a yes or no to what you're asking. If you really are interested in knowing what they are, I will tell you, but it's going to take some time. And if you don't want to, have me make a video and answer your question, there's got to be 100 hours of me talking about exactly what mantras are on this channel. I encourage you to spend more time on my channel, watch the videos, make use of this library. Don't be lazy. You're not, you just got here so you don't know any better. Let's see, what else? All right, that's it, I guess. We're all done. All right, so no other questions. Then I appreciate your guys' time. Again, interdimensional revolution. If you go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com, you can get 2 free audiobooks, which means you can get interdimensional revolution and extraterrestrials are coming to Earth. I answer all the questions about what ETs are. I tell you the difference between aliens and extraterrestrials. I tell you the difference between the negative beings that you need to be afraid of and the positive beings that are here to shift the world. I tell you how the war between the aliens and the ETs is actually heading towards us shifting up to the next level. I talk about that in my books. Please, guys, educate yourselves, because we are about to go through unbelievably crazy shifts. Like, if you thought things were crazy before, we haven't even gotten even close to where things are before. Joker in the deck, why do you think this is not a prison? Again, write the word question. My answer to your question is put some time and effort to watch the videos. Seriously, guys. When I see that, the first thing that goes off in my mind is that you're a 10-year-old kid and you can't do anything for yourself. If I go to somebody's channel and they say something that intrigues me, I know how to search in their channel to find exactly what I'm looking for. I have more respect for you than to give you a 2 or 3 word answer. You really want the answer to that question? Put some effort into it. This is a learning channel that is a library for you. There's thousands of hours of teaching here. If you really want to learn, put some effort into it. Otherwise, you're just one of those poor schmucks who is being controlled and manipulated by YouTube. You're just bored and you got nothing better to do. I actually give you the tools to escape the prison of the matrix, the prison part of the matrix. I give you the tools to shift to higher dimensional realities. I give you the tools to find out the truth for yourself. But you have to have the willingness to do the work, and you have to have the balls. If you don't have those things, I can't help you. Nobody can. But there's no shortage of people out there that will just tell you what to believe. They'll feed your fears. They'll feed your prejudices. And they will appeal to your narcissism, and you won't learn anything. And when the shift comes, I don't wish anything negative on anybody. You might end up with a less than pleasant experience. So do the work, do the research. My channel is here for you if you're willing to do that. Otherwise, I wish you all the best wherever you are. You've got all the links here. They're here for a reason. Go check them out. And especially the solarflash.thunderwizard.com. If you're broke but you want to have thousands of dollars worth of video teachings, energy teachings, and if you want 3 ways to create your own business. Listen, there was a time when all I did was astrology readings, and I was making thousands of dollars a month. There was a time that I was just focused on rune readings, and I was making thousands of dollars a month. There was a time that I was just focused on doing career consultations, and I was making thousands of dollars a month. And I teach you how to do all 3 of those. I teach you exactly how to create a business to do that, and you can learn that on solarflash.thunderwizard.com. I'm basically giving it away. That's it, guys. I wish you all the best. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care.